Good morning. Good morning. It's June 27th. Please do me a favor and find your mute button. Yep, I got it recorded. Okay, so here's the deal. There's a couple things coming up soon, but today what we're going to talk about is family functions, get-togethers, parties, picnics, all of those wonderful things. Even though some of us are still kind of locked down, I do believe a lot of people are starting to get together outside, having barbecues, seeing each other. And since we've been locked down for so long, we might be going off the deep end with our eating when we get together, or drinking, eating, whatever. So I want to go over a little bit. I have a couple tips for you there. However, in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. Muscle Burns Fat is coming up, and I'm very, very excited about this program. Woo! Uh-oh. Oh, that's my own. I'm like, where'd that sound come? It's from my phone. Okay, so Muscle Burns Fat coming up, and I love the idea of this program. I have not tried it yet, so I can't even tell you what it's like, but the pictures coming out are amazing. The results coming out are amazing, and I'm really excited to get our own results from this, right? So it's a 3-week program. Well, it's actually a 6-week program. It's 2 programs morphed into one, right? So they're back to back. So the first program is 3 weeks. The second program is 3 weeks, called Muscle Burns Fat and Muscle Burns Fat Advanced. Okay, and it's so 3 weeks and 3 weeks. You could go right into each other, or you could like redo the first 3 weeks and go into the second when you're ready. Totally up to you. That being said, having a program that's 6 weeks can create massive results. And the first 3 weeks are only, I think they said average 30 minutes per workout. And then the second one is, I think, 35, sometimes 40 minutes per workout. So they're both completely doable, and I'm beyond excited to do them. Okay, so that's number one. When does it come out? It's releasing to coaches on the 7th of July and to customer accounts on the 27th of July. I haven't completely decided, but I think I personally am going to start on the 27th, so it has time to ship to me. Because of COVID and everything going on, shipping might be longer than normal. So I'm going to give myself a little buffer there to make sure I have the cool new equipment that they have coming out with it, which we'll talk about that later. Okay, so that's one. Hold on. I need to make sure my phone doesn't lock because I want to use this. Woo! I'm like all over the place with this. Oh no, I lost my spot. Oh, whatever. Okay, anyway. So, okay, let's talk about picnics and get-togethers and family get-togethers and whatever. So find the chat if you have the chat function. On your phone, you might have to like look for it. I'll even type, because on your phone, if you're on your phone, the chat function will light up. I think it like blinks when somebody says something. So I opened it up and I wrote hi. So you can see if it's like blinking. So that's where the chat is. Tell me if you have something coming up that you might be like meeting up with people, or oh my God, it just keeps playing, sorry, and meeting up for people, or like going to a picnic or anything like that. I want to know, do you have an event coming up where you have to think twice about what you're eating to stay on track? I want to know. Please grab that chat button. Graduation party. We're actually having our own graduation party, and we still didn't pick the food. So that's interesting. Ooh, going to the cabin for a few days. Yes. Sandy says, I'm making the Fixate drinks. Cool. Lynette's going to a party July 4th. Okay, so everybody has something going up. Good. So we have a good topic to talk about. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go over a couple tips for you. However, I want to reiterate that, and by the way, make sure you're muted. Maybe I can do it. There we go. I want to reiterate this formula because it's really important. Mindset plus action equals results or success, however you want to label that. But mindset plus action equals results. So your mindset is just as important as your action, okay? Because they play off of each other. they keep each other going. You need to have the right mindset to take the right actions and vice versa, or it's going to fall apart. Okay. So our mindset around parties and picnics and just family get-togethers in general should be one of, I can do this, right? I can totally do this. This is possible. It's doable. I don't need to starve myself. I can go with a game plan, right? And the game plan is like numero uno. That's number one of our tips, right? Is a game plan. And one of the biggest things you can do is call ahead, right? So think of it as a restaurant. Call ahead. And when we go to restaurants, I always recommend calling ahead and looking up the menu online, right? Well, there's a way to do this and be totally fine, and nobody's gonna like be mad at you or whatever. You just call ahead and you say, hey, what are you serving? Because I want to make sure I can bring something that I can share with everyone that will complement what you're making, right? What are you serving? What are you putting out today, right? Is it hot dogs and burgers? And oh, okay, cool. Nobody ever makes a vegetable, like enough vegetables, I should say. So you could be like, oh, cool, what veggies are you doing? Because I was thinking about bringing a veggie, right? And just dig a little bit, not in a way of, I'm on a diet and I need to make sure that you're serving something that I can have. Like, you would never say that, right? And if you have, which I probably have many times in my lifetime, I am the culprit of this. Don't do that. Don't do what I did, and be a little more cordial, right? So call them and be like, hey, what are you serving? I want to make sure that I can bring something that complements what you're making. And if they tell you, awesome. Do you have like a veggie dish? And if they tell you a veggie dish, awesome. I think I might bring another veggie dish or something like that, right? Something that's going to complement what they're already making. So that's number one. Number one is call ahead and have a game plan, right? You need to game plan. This doesn't take a lot of time, right? It's just a quick call or a text. If you want to text, it's fine. You can text, right? So that's number one. Number two is the veggie. Bring a veggie. I've never been to a party or a picnic or a graduation or a wedding or anything. Yep, I'm just double checking in my head where they didn't have enough veggies. Like, if anything, they might have like raw veggies, like a thing to dip in. But most of the time, veggies are not the thing of the party, right? So 2 tips for veggies. So this is still all under veggies. Bring them and share them, right? So 1, you can stop and get like full veggies at the grocery store if you forgot and you don't have anything prepared. You can either go and get one already cut up, or you can just buy a bunch of stuff. If it's like someone close, a family member, whatever, buy a bunch of stuff and be like, hey, can I cut this stuff up in your kitchen, right? It also gives you something to do. Keeps your hands busy. And if you're cutting up veggies there and you're like around food, you're probably going to eat the veggies while you're cutting it up. But whatever, it's veggies, eat it, right? So raw veggies. Go there, grab some peppers, grab some zucchini, some cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, anything that you like to eat, carrots, things like that, right? So veggies, make sure you bring the veggies. Now, let's talk about the ones that are all the tray comes with a dip, right? Here's an awesome, oh my God, I love this tip. And I got it from Alana. She's really awesome about watering things down or making things different, cutting it with other things. And we personally have this mayo, right? I'm going to show it to you. This is organic mayo spicy chipotle, okay? I love spicy chipotle mayo. It is so good. There's different brands. All of them are awesome in their own right, okay? So what we decided when we made turnip fries the other day is we took some of this and some fat-free yogurt, Greek yogurt, fat-free Greek plain yogurt. Why? Because Greek yogurt has a higher protein content. And if I was eating yogurt like by itself, I would never get fat-free. It's disgusting. I'd get like 2% or whatever. But if I'm cutting it into something and I want less calories, but I want to add like bulk to the other thing, the other flavor, you don't even taste the yogurt. So if you do fat-free Greek yogurt, it has a higher content of protein. You can mix it, like you could do half and half. Make it to however you like it tasted, and then you can dip in that. So that was what I used for turnip fries, but you can do the same with things like blue cheese, ranch dressing, whatever it is that you are dipping your veggies in. You can cut it with fat-free Greek yogurt, cut it with other things, and now you have this like delicious flavor that you're used to and love. It's going to make you eat more veggies, but it's loaded with protein and less calories, right? So really, really cool idea. The other idea I have for veggies that I wanted to share is, well, two other. There's salads you can do, but make sure they're veggie most. Cut it with the accessories. You're going to have accessories on everything else that's there. Like you're going to have your fats and your sugars on everything else that's flavored there, right? So you can bring a salad that is literally just veggie salad. And then the other idea, the last one for veggies, is to make a soup. Now I understand it's in the middle of the summer. I get that, but there's a ton of different veggie soups that you can serve that are just veggies and broth, right? And they're flavorful, they're delicious, they don't go bad when they're sitting out, right, in the sun, and it fills you up. Soup fills you up a lot, right? And it doesn't need to be piping hot because it's the middle of summer, nobody needs it piping hot. So it stays out really well. It's a veggie soup, it's filling, it's delicious. Just don't add any of the like FFCs or carbs or whatever, so that it's veggies most and broth. And you can really load up a soup with flavor. I mean, find a different, there's so many kinds of veggie soups out there. Jesse, I love when he makes this amazing chicken veggie soup. And instead of having noodles or something, he chops up real small cauliflower, and it feels like you're eating like noodles and stuff in it. But anyway, you could do that without the veggie or without the chicken and just have like a chicken flavored noodle, fake noodle soup. There's also in To Be Mindset, there's a soup out there that's a tomato soup. That's really good too. So find soups that are literally just the broth and the veggie and make it amazingly delicious. You can make extra for everybody to share, and it's something else that you can add to your plate. So the point is to bulk up your plate with veggies. And the problem is when you go to a party or picnic, a family member usually they don't have a ton of veggies. So find a way to make different kinds of veggies and bring it and share it with everybody. So it's not just for you. They also have a ton of recipes out there for cold soups. Like it's a summer thing. Is it gazpacho? How do you say it? That cold soup.
Gazpacho.
Thanks. I'm not a fan, but some people might be. Okay, so cool. Blah, blah, blah. What is the calories on this is probably through the roof. 1 tablespoon is 100 calories. So just cut it up with your better for you ingredients. Okay, so pool party today with the hubby, first time in 3 months. Awesome. That's going to be fun. Okay, so that is number 2, veggies. So number 1, call ahead, get the game plan, know what you're in for, basically, right? Number 2, bring the veggies. Number 3, stick with water first. And this kind of goes along with number 4. So number 3, stick with water first. Make sure you have a water bottle on you. Make sure you're asking them right away when you get there, where's the water? And make sure you're sipping on your water, right? Having a water in your hand, it can replace having a drink in your hand. Having a water in your hand is really important. So sip on that water, but don't just sip on the water the whole time. Be with number 4 is visualize your plate and have a meal. So here's the thing. When we're at a party, we tend to just graze. We'll go to the table and we graze and we just eat this and eat that and eat this and eat that all day long instead of having an actual meal. So my challenge to you is to have an actual meal. Like, don't go around and graze. Think to yourself, okay, I'm going to have a plate with my meal on it so I can visualize what I'm having. When we go and grab a handful of chips here and there, which by the way, yesterday was, for me, a not so good day with chips. I had a fallout with them. Anyway, so grab a plate so you can visualize what you're eating. Otherwise, you can't possibly know the portions you're having, and you can't know the percentage of each item that you're having. Having a plate is really important. And if you're following Fixate with the containers, having a plate, you don't even need truly to have those containers with you if you've been using them for a while, because you know how your plate looks with those containers on it. But you still aren't going to be able to keep with your portions if you're eating on the go, right, at the party. So make sure you're sitting down and having a plate. When you have a plate, you can visualize what's on there. On that plate, make sure you have those veggies filling up the plate, right? And then you can have your favorite things that you love. If you're at a barbecue, have some barbecue chicken. Maybe you have like brisket or something, but you can have a little bit of meat. I'm not saying you can't. Don't not have the things you love, but look at your plate and see how they look on your plate, right? Veggies most on that plate. And if you're going to graze on those raw veggies. Okay, so then you have water first. So intentionally drink 16 ounces of water before you have your plate. Intentionally do that. So don't count the things that you were sipping throughout the time. Intentionally drink 16 ounces of water 20 to 30 minutes before you sit down and have your plate. If you can follow that right there, it's going to make a huge difference when you're out and about with your family, friends, and at parties, okay? So number 1 is to call ahead. Number 2 is to bring a veggie to share with everybody. Number 3 is to have your 16 ounces of water before. Number 4, you have your plate, your meal, your plated meal, right? Okay, number 5 is to write it down. Do not forget to sit down after you're at the party, when you're in the car, whatever, to be like, hey, hubby, whoever's driving with me, can you drive so I can track what I just ate? And write it down. It's going to help a lot. Even if you did have a treat, maybe you had a treat, maybe you had a drink, whatever it is, write it down. Absolutely, positively write it down. Number 6, if you're going to have a treat, share it and follow the More Shore model. So if you don't know what the More Shore model is, it's like one of the coolest things in the world. Honestly, I think it's really, really important. And if you can follow the More Shore model and not have any guilt around your eating, like don't get mad at yourself for eating a treat or something like that, you will be golden. Okay. So the More Shore model is a to be mindset model, but you can use it with Fixate too, right? So More Shore. I want more? Sure, right? That's a More Shore model. So if you're still hungry or you want a dessert or anything like that, then follow a wheel, okay? What it is you have to go back to the beginning, have 16 ounces of water, right? That's the beginning. Then have some veggies. Then add a little bit of protein. Make sure it's on your plate. You have your mostly veggies and then maybe a small piece of protein. Then, if you still want your treat, then have your treat. Make sense? More? Sure. Or, if you want your, I'm using treat in place of an FFC, but, if you want another FFC, which would be like a potato, like a healthy carb, a potato, rice, whatever, then that's where you add that. So anyway, eat it in that order though. So if you're having a plate and you're putting a little piece of like cake on your plate, have it in order. Have your water first, then eat your veggie, then a little bit of protein, then your treat. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And make sure it's smaller, because here's the thing. I remember watching the Food Network with Jessie, and maybe Jessie can remind me of the show. I can't remember. I think it was whatever cooking show it was, where they compete. One of the women on there who judges the show, somebody asked her in a magazine, like, how do you stay fit when you're literally eating everybody's meal? Like, everybody's making stuff. It's a 4-course meal. You have to like eat it all, right? And she said, what I realized over the years is the first bite and the last bite are the 2 most important bites. Right? When you're enjoying something, the first bite and the last bite are the 2 most important bites. Everything in the middle doesn't matter. So if I'm only taking 2 bites of something, I'm satisfied, I'm good, and I move on. You don't need more than that to taste it, like to enjoy it, to enjoy the flavors of it. And so she has made a rule for herself when it comes to things like treats, like dessert, like drinks or whatever, to just do 2, the first and the last. I'm like, wow, that's pretty insightful, right? So she doesn't like say no. She just has 2 bites, first and last, right? Now for us, we could take those 2 bites, but make sure you track it. Make sure you write it down. If you bite it, track it. What is it? If you taste it, track it. If you drink it, ink it. Something like that, right? If you taste it, if you bite it. Oh, if you bite it, write it. If you drink it, ink it. I love that. I think it's cute. Anyway, okay, so more, sure, use that model. And then lastly, and this is one of my biggest things, and I haven't really heard anybody else say this, but Jessie is big on this and has helped me with this. If I know we're going somewhere and I really don't want the treats there, I'm like, that is not worth it. Those desserts are not worth it. I have become a picky eater because of health. Like I have become a picky eater because I ask myself now, is that worth it? Is that worth it? I'm not sure. Is it worth like feeling gross afterwards? Is it worth feeling bloated afterwards? Is it worth the scale not looking very pretty the next morning? Like, is that worth it? Right? And if it's really delicious, like a brownie sundae from Friendly's, sure, it's worth it. And I realize that sharing it is even more fun. Like it's worth it when I'm sharing it, right? So that's one thing. But I've realized that if it's not worth it, and if I'm going to a party and things might not be worth it, most likely, right? I bring a drink that's sweet. Like I like Zevia, which is it's like root beer and it's sweetened with stevia. So like it's an all natural sweetened root beer, but 0 calories. And so I'll bring a drink with me like that and use that as my like follow up, my dessert. You know what I mean? So Alana uses teas in the same way. She will drink like a sweet, like a like oh, this is great in the winter. I don't know if it's great for the summer, but there's a baked apple flavored tea and it's delicious. So good. Tastes like apple pie, right? But it's 0 calories and it's good for you and it's wonderful. And yes, that's what I was just about to say. There's a drink coming soon from Beachbody called Bevies. And I haven't tried them yet, but I'm super excited about them because sometimes I use Energize as my follow-up sweet drink. I probably shouldn't drink that all the time. So I'm really excited for Bevy coming up. And I think Beachbody realized there was a whole like 400,000 coaches who are using Energize as a as a sweet drink. So they were like, you know what? There's a opportunity here for us to make something for people to drink. So anyway, they have bevies coming up and I'm really, really excited about that for this reason. Normally I drink water all day long, but if you're going to use something to replace the dessert, the sweetness, the thing that you want after a meal when you're out with your friends and family and you want something like special, then I suggest a flavored tea, a flavored, like all sweetened, naturally sweetened, 0 calorie drink like Zevia. I don't recommend diet sodas, mainly because they usually have a really bad fake sugar in it that could cause bad problems. But anyway, if that's the only thing that you have and you really want that and you don't drink it all the time, then go for it, So find something to replace that wanting, that desire of having the sweet treat when you're out with your friends and family and parties and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll bring a 6-pack of Zevia. Why? Well, somebody else might want it, but usually people look at it and they're like, oh, I'm not going to try that. But if they want to try it, I want to be able to give it to them. So those are my 7 tips. If somebody wants to type it in there to share, I don't remember what the number goes with what. But anyway, do you think this was helpful? Did you get any tips out of this that you think you can use the next time you go out to a party, a picnic, a holiday, any of those things? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I want to share with you, I might be doing the next coffee talk. I might be doing it live on my Facebook account. I haven't decided yet, but I'll let you know. I will make sure you guys know ahead of time. Samantha said, yes, very helpful. I love the little sayings. Yes, me too. Here's a question for you guys. Would you show up to a Facebook Live if it was like 8 a.m., same time, Facebook Live? And this upcoming weekend, I'll be doing an interview with somebody on our team who has great results around our system. Yes, yep, awesome, cool. Then if I do that, it'll be saved right away. You can share it with your team right away. You don't have to wait for me to upload it to YouTube and send out a link. It'll take a lot of steps out for me. So I love seeing everybody too, but I honestly think if we're on Facebook, you guys will be talking back and forth even more because of the comment section. I'm not sure what you think about that, but I do think you guys will be talking to each other more on the comment section. But there's really no way to know unless we try. So I think I'm just gonna try and we'll see how it goes. See how it goes. Cool. Okay. I think that's it. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'm gonna let you go. Next weekend, we're gonna be interviewing someone from our team who is doing awesome, who has had great results. I don't think great weight loss results. I think great mindset, and I have to check on that. I'm not sure. I mean, she might have some weight loss results, but it's not like 100 pounds. But she found a way to actually stick with a health routine that she's been wanting to do. And that's, I think, such a blessing of what we have in our system, that we can help others lose weight. We can help others increase their fitness, their endurance, because we have an awesome system that works. It helps people get into healthy habits. And I think that's what's really, really important. So, okay, we'll see you next weekend. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you later. Let me see if I can find the button to close this out. Bye.